Good morning and welcome back to Other Worlds Wednesday here on Gaming with ADHD, where today we're going to be taking a look at Critical Foundation Episode 0. Now, this was released this year, 2023, at Free RPG Day, and it's an introduction to the Critical Foundation role-playing game. Now, I'll be honest, I had never heard of Critical Foundation until Free RPG Day, and I saw this little box on the table and started taking a look at it, and I became a bit intrigued. Intrigued so much that I actually went and purchased the full game, which I will be covering in a later video. But today, I just wanted to review the product that was provided at Free RPG Day. Now, before we get started, do make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I do try to put out a few videos each week covering anything from role-playing to board games to miniatures, do painting streams, basically anything related to tabletop gaming. And so, I'd love for you to come along and see what I have to share. Now, I was going to, talk a little bit more, but you know what? I think I just want to dive right into it and go over it because this is kind of an interesting idea that they've got as far as how to present a role-playing game, mostly to new players. In fact, I found it kind of interesting. I was looking for a little bit more information before starting this, and I usually will go to Board Game Geek or RPG Geek to find just like a good cover image. And for this one, I went looking at RPG Geek because this is a role-playing game. But it showed up in Board Game Geek. So, little bit confused there. Maybe it's maybe it's whoever submitted the information. Maybe they were confused. I don't know. But again, it's got some of that kind of crossover mentality. So, anyways, it basically for Free RPG Day, it's this small box, and the reason for it is because you're actually going to be getting a series of cards and a couple of other things. This is actually a presentation of what you get in the full game. Again, video coming soon. But it still does give you quite a bit of stuff. Now, all right, so as a quick look, we've got some larger size cards. I'll open these up and we'll look at them all individually in a moment. We've got some small cards. We've got essentially a Game Master screen, which I think was fantastic. Now, we've got a nice little bit of cyberpunk art. I will be honest, that was one of the things that drew me the most. As you all know, I've covered cyberpunk, a little bit of cyberpunk red, a lot of Shadowrun. I love me a good cyberpunk setting. So already it kind of had me interested. Now, this is typically with stuff for Free RPG Day. Basically, it's going to be like an adventure, some pre-generated characters, but in a typical, role-playing book format. This obviously is a little bit smaller. It's more like a pamphlet, and it's in total 8 pages. All right. So it gives you a little bit of an introduction. What is a role-playing game? How does it work? And then it goes into the description of the player characters, how you actually will make your checks. Now, it does use custom dice. One thing they point out right here, there is a QR code to download the app for the dice. Which the app is actually not ready yet, and so the QR code will actually take you basically to a website that has the dice that you need. So it's a D6, a D8, and a D12, and basically you just tap on it and it will roll the dice down here for you. The 12-sided dice, it has an X, and anything from 0 to 3. The 8 has, I think, 2, 3, and that is it. And then the dice has any one of the 6 different symbols. So, yeah, this is perfectly fine. I do like how they put there. Our best agents developed despite all our efforts, it was impossible to include dice in this demo kit. Fair enough. I mean, they're using custom dice, which is a little bit of a downside. But the fact that they're putting it out and automatically there is a way to get free dice, essentially. I mean, yes, it's virtual. But again, that's fine. This is an intro. This was free. Okay. Everything that I've gotten here so far, I mean, I'd have paid like, $10 for it. Maybe not 10. I don't know. It's not a ton, but it was super worth it especially for free. So, basically, the difficulty ratings go anywhere from 1 to 6, and so between your attributes, any skills you may have, and then the roll of the dice, you're just trying to beat a target number. Generally, a kind of low target number. I've read some of the full set as well, but this one they actually keep it very, very simple. You know what? Actually, let me go ahead and pull out some of the cards. So this is these are the character cards that they include. Sorry, this is sort of off the cuff this morning. All right. So basically, you've got the character unnamed, so you get to name them. Health, everyone has 2 health. Any weapons you have will go over here. Any equipment weapons will go to the left, equipment to the right. Gives you your occupation. This guy is an analyst. A quality and a flaw, so he's charming but manipulative. Your attributes. Now there's 4 attributes: dexterity, mental, physical, and social. One of them is going to be marked as red, and that is going to be your main attribute. So if you ever need to make a check using your main attribute, you get a +1 bonus to it. A little bit of a description for your character and a quote. So basically they're trying to drop you in as far as, hey, here's this character. This is what this character is like. So it doesn't do a lot, obviously, as far as character creation. All of the characters are pre-generated in this case. I will have to dig in a little bit more on the other one. I was waiting for the unboxing to do that. But they all have, so we've got an analyst, a coder, a scientist, and military. Each one has a different main attribute. But from there, just trying to keep it relatively simple. Now, for the adventure, some of it is pre-scripted. Basically, you hand out the cards, so each player gets to pick one, and then you have a little intro scenario where each of the players gets some equipment. So each player gets some Kevlar armor. So it has 2 uses. When you suffer damage, ignore the first wound. So you only have 2 wounds, so pretty good to be able to stop that. So you get 4 of the Kevlar armor cards, and all of the characters get an assault rifle, which does 2 damage and adds 1 success bonus to an attack roll. So everyone gets one of those. A piece of equipment for the scenario. I won't spoil exactly what that is. And then different wounds. Now, In the full game, they will have effects, but in these, it's just more of description. So this one is a head wound. A violent impact to your ear stuns you. You stagger for a few moments. So this is something that the person running the adventure could use to describe what's happening as the players get hit. Arm wound, body wound. Actually, I think they even use different descriptions. So this one talks about a shoulder hit that almost dislocates it, and then this one is an elbow hit, so like hitting your funny bone, body wound, and leg wound. So again, just ways that the game master can add a little bit of flavor to this scenario. But then they also have cards for, so in this case, these are the NPC bad guys that you're going to fight, some mercenaries, how much health they have, how much damage they do. Basically all of your information is just contained on these cards. And then you have different locations. So, in this case, we have a full map. So the briefing at the very beginning says, okay, show the players the card and then kind of describe the different locations. Okay, this is where you're going to go. And basically kind of guide the players through making a plan. This is getting to the facility that you are trying to infiltrate. And then I'm actually not going to show all of the third card because, again, I don't want to spoil the adventure for you. But that is everything that they provide. Overall, reading through the adventure, it does leave a lot for the game master to have to ad-lib. It's a little bit of a railroad as far as the adventure goes, but again, this is an intro scenario. It is provided to get players into the game. Now, looking through the full set, they still include this episode 0, but with all of the rules instead of some stripped down rules for Free RPG Day. But overall, I think this is a very interesting way about introducing a new game, especially a new role-playing game to players who may not have done so in the past. Role-playing game has been exploding since 2020, and so providing new players new ways to get into the game, I think, is absolutely fantastic. Overall, if you find this at your local store, you can still go to freerpgday.com, find the stores that participated, and they may have this set available still. I would definitely recommend checking it out. Like I said, I was so intrigued just by the box that I actually went and bought the full game. And even the full game is pretty reasonable at about $35, so much less than you would find from a regular role-playing book, which is usually going to cost you about $50 to $60. But there are even ways that you can take it, repurpose the materials because it'll give you 9 scenarios, but give you ways to repurpose that material for further adventures and further stories. They have said that they are going to be releasing additional seasons, things like that. So overall, I think this is going to be a very interesting new way to get people into role-playing games. It is a rather rules-light system, but not in such a way that I think it puts a lot of burden on players and game masters. I think the inclusion of the cards, a lot of predefined art. Most role-playing games, it's like, hey, here's a big wall of text, and so you're either having to read and give descriptions, but in this case, they're providing cards. Art can be reused and repurposed, many different ways. And the fact that they give it to you right out the gate means you're not having to go search through the internet and find it. So overall, I think I'm pretty excited about this one. I think the story is actually pretty compelling. It does lead into the full game. So overall, like I said, I would recommend giving it a try. It's a different way of presenting a role playing game, I think. And I'm excited to see what they do with the full game. So, with that said, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please do give the video a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed. Like I said, I'll be putting out a few videos each week covering all sorts of content. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. We've got links down to our social media down below. Feel free to follow us there as well. But other than that, we will talk to you next time. Thanks. Bye.